I need to actually, you know what? I'll do it from my music generator. So if you guys don't know, I do generate AI music as well. So I do Eminem remakes, and when I say Eminem remakes, that is me, my own voice, my own lyrics, Eminem instrumentals. So I have a channel for that. So now we actually have three channels to keep up with, guys, and it's out there. The reason I'm saying that is because we have what I call my gaming channel, which is the one we're on now, which Demonic plays. We have my, I'll say, remake channel, which is where I remake songs from Eminem or other artists or whatever, right? When I get asked to do so, I gotta wait to get a new mic. That's why I haven't been producing over to it for a minute. Um, my studio quality mic, uh, which was a omnidirectional binaural, fucking dude, it was a lot. Like literally I could do interviews with it, ASMR with it, music with it. Like literally it was a mic for just about anything. um it decided to die on me, so I have to wait till I can afford $500 again to go out and get a mic. And sorry, Dota, but I'm not going to be like you and be like, "Hey fans, can you please like help me buy a mic? It's $500." Although for Dota, it's not a $500 object. He's asking for his fans to buy him a PC, which is like 12, like $1,200 upwards to like $4,500 plus, somewhere in that ballpark is what he's asking his fans to do. But I'm not like you, Dota. I'm not gonna beg my fans. I'll build my own cash and get it when I earn it. But with that to the side, guys, that mic took a shit on itself. It died. I've had it for like what? I think I got it when I was in high school. So my senior year, we'll say when I was 18, I am now nearly 30. That is how old the mic is, and you can hear how well it was still producing music, right? So just wanted to point that out. It was a kind of old mic, lasted as long as it did. It was great. Again, it was a $400 mic around the time. Um, they have new versions of it, but to get the new versions, that's nearly about $1,000 now. It's like $899. For the pro version, as in like if you want the best version of that mic, it's now like basically $1,000. Um, I'm not going to ask anyone to go out and buy this thing for me or beg and plead you guys to do it. Just not who I am. Howdy, gamer girl. Welcome to the streams. And back to the channel. But pretty much, guys, I'm not going to be King Dodo on that point. Let's get off the Dota fact now. We're going to be doing some reviews over to some of the packs here. Things that are broken that needs fixed, and well, some stuff like that never happened before till after update, which means Minecraft worked on some back end stuff, and the developers to the plugins just need to like synchronize and fix some stuff. So the first thing is going to be the Better Structures mod, the one I love that has the great pyramids for the jungle, the desert, and they're massive pyramids. On top of one update broke where they were spawning to the point where they were spawning outside of their natural zone. And that's because now we have when you search up Minecraft jungle, instead of just being jungle now, you actually have to do like Minecraft something jungle, right? Which now they have to go in and add that same unique code into the generation of where it is pointed to be generated. Next, they did something where they have to load the different files in a separate individual way. So the developers have to go and make sure the files load properly to their plugins, which is why when you activate the plugin, it doesn't actually give you the book. It doesn't spawn anything because it's not actually registering the files. Stuff like that. So To get that out of the way, I went over pretty much the update, broke a lot of stuff, and the developers to the plugin slash mods will need to fix that. And it's something on their end they have to fix because they have to fix how Minecraft works, like through its back end coding, into their own dev kit mods slash plugins. Now, to show you that I do have stuff that does work, we'll launch into a world right quick, which is my little survival world, which actually has something it got brought into here, and it's something I showed off the other day in stream. But we have chocobos, which are not actually chocobos anymore, because they are separate creatures, but it's defined off of the chocobo mod from PC. So you've already seen it to the left there, but if you guys ever watch Java Edition, not Bedrock, but Java, and you've seen people play on servers and they have these little cool, like, bird-looking things that they can saddle and ride and tame, we have that, but now instead of being chocobos, it's actually like Aether something. Aether Moas is now what the mod is actually called, but we get these. And it's free. Literally, if you launch Minecraft, go into the store and go ahead and claim it and download it, it is completely free. So that's one, to show you that this stuff does work. Two, I got modded equipment, meaning the Paxel. This is not something directly into Minecraft. Alongside, we do have like the Iron Torch, the Essentials Guidebook, all these different books like this. If I come over, we do, however, have, Realism VFX, Tree Capitator, most of the good stuff, right? And some of the settings are not going to be here because I put it in the spawn chest and then ran 1,000 blocks away, as you can see at the top left there. I'm 1,418 blocks in one direction at 1,001 blocks in another direction. As in, the best way to put this is like, think of like position 1 there, the 1,418 being like north or south, and we'll say north because it's positive, south would be negative. And then the second position there, the 1,001 would be like east to west, right? And let's say west is negative, east is positive. So I've ran 1,418 blocks north and 1,101 blocks east, okay, of the spawn. That's the best way I can kind of point that out to you guys. X, Y, and Z, okay? Just think of it more like a compass, and your Z coordinate is height, like how high I am, right? As in 0 would be like sea level, 61 would be like a hill or a mountain, and then if we were negative 100, I'd be under the ground, okay? That's how that works. For anyone who did not understand that stuff up there at the top left, even though a lot of people probably already do. But I've ran really, really far. We've worked on this little thing here. We've made this come down now. I've done this all off cam. You come down this way. You're able to run down over here. And then you can explore the rest of the cave going that way, over there, over there. The way I've chosen to naturally go at the moment is right here. So you can kind of see we can kind of come down. Come down the little staircase that I've made. Down right here. And it is a giant water area right here with some glow squids. I'm leaving it here for the glow squids, sorry. It didn't actually let me jump when I first naturally pressed it. I guess the fall damage canceled it. But, boop, as you can see, we are getting our glow squids right here. That's why we're leaving it this way. I am, however, going to go around and continue doing this. I just happened to run out of torches. And I was doing all that over there and occasional torches over this way. But I have been down here, okay? Because you do like this, and you can parkour across to come over here, or just come down like that through there. There was mobs here, but after reloading the game, of course, they despawn. But this comes this way. Goes right here. As you can see, I've mined some stuff there and here. Missed that. But yeah, okay, we're light level enough right there. I'm gonna put one right there just to make 110% sure. Let's go right here to show you can mount stuff like this. Boop. over here. This wraps down and around, and this actually comes back underneath this, where that little waterfall was right here. This is what this is under. Boop. We go back this way. See a little waterfall? Where we just was is right back in there. Okay? And then to get back across, we just do this. Very simple. Boop. Boom, boom, boom. Got to get that gold and the that over there, the coal. I just want to add. Usually the torch doesn't break. It usually just breaks everything else. That is kind of weird, but it'll be fine. All right. Bright light. Grab this. Grab this as well. Oh, okay, good. We're good. All of that. Ooh, hi, creeper. Also, for everyone wondering why I'm jumping, like I go up and then do this, it's because it actually lets you still hit crits, kind of like they had back in the day. So to show you this in effect, if I hit a zombie, that's -7, which is -7. And then if I jump and come down, that is -10. I can do that again to show you it's going to consistently stay 10. That's why I do that. And my essentials mod that I use actually is allowing us to see how much damage I'm doing on top of, they actually added in a health bar. I just turned the health bar off though, because the health bars are still kind of buggy in Bedrock Edition, let's be honest. But we're going to do our reviews here in a second. I just wanted to show you guys this down here and also torch off a little bit down here so we're not, having as many mobs spawning in while I'm doing what I'm doing up at the other section. We're just going to hit the water. And we're going to go ahead and go start our review here in a second on certain things. Boop, boop. Oh, I need to eat. When being the Realms management tool, this is a simple review to start off. I love it because it's something you can come in here and do this with, where you can set all this stuff. If you want actual warps that everyone can use, there's no set right here. The way you do this is you have to be the owner of the world, and we're going to do tag, and then it's going to ask us who. So we're going to do add s for at self, and then we type in add, and then op. This means op. Once you do that, we get that tag. That's going to give us new settings we can come in here, which is moderation and administration. So you can actually set up like settings and rules within this. But now we can click manage warps. We can add a warp, and just to show you guys how this works, we can actually go in and do like cave.
Ellie got expelled if you didn't see it last stream.
I did not see that last stream. Damn. Then the warp destination, we're just going to say like YT hot. All right, for tutorial. Boom. Now that we've clicked that, it's going to say it has added. And then now if I actually go in here, we can hit warps, and you're going to notice cave 1 is now here. That's how that works with this mod. Go ahead and do this. Go ahead and do this, this. And we're going to go back up top to our chest, and then we're going to go ahead and log back to where we were at the main menu, so I can actually go over the store pages with you guys and then go over what's going on with each different mod that is broken. So that way we can figure out, well, not really figure out, but, help the developers to them figure out what is going wrong so we can get the stuff fixed. And that is if they actually even review this video, or at least somebody who's done the same type of video. All right, so we're going to go in, head in the store. We're going to click My Library up here whenever that loads. There we go. Boom. We go right here. Let's get into our comments this way so I don't have to just look at the bottom right. All right. Now we're going to get into first reviews. So we're going to go ahead and start off with the Aether Moa here. Again, it is free. And this is the one you've seen with that, like, you know, terror bird looking thing that you could ride around, right? If you like Ark, you refer to it as a terror bird. This is the Aether Moa, which is also the mod I was calling it earlier, which is Chocobos, right? We are going to go ahead and scroll down. So aquaculture, I like it when it comes to adding a plenty of different fish and new types of food and traps for the fish and, you know, fishing rods for different fishing stuff. Great. But outside of that, I don't like how it adds extra armor, which is the Neptunium. It looks good, but you're going to spend like real life 30 days hoping maybe at the possibility of one Neptunium from the fishing rod you do, because you have to fish and scale and all that just for a random chance at catching Neptunium, which takes way too long, okay? You're probably not going to get Neptunium armor realistically without cheating it in. All right. Same with the tools, unless you cheat it in. Okay. Great for adding wildlife, bad for the armor and tools. Maybe make it like you catch rare fish, and then that rare fish has a chance at dropping Neptunium, where then that Neptunium is used to making the stuff. It shouldn't be just fished out, meaning like, you know, you cast your rod in, you have a chance at Neptunium just be on the end of your rod with a very low bid. At least give like a 25% chance when skinning a rare fish, you get Neptunium. All right. Apart from that, backpacks is good. Okay, backpacks 2.0.2 here. Very good mod. I actually like how they do the different graphic designs. One flaw with these is you have to set the backpack on the ground to open it. If we go back and look at the regular backpack mod from Java Edition, you can wear it, and then when you click your inventory button, there's two ways to go about this. One, you can give a separate UI where they like, okay, you have your UI that goes over here for your inventory, and then you can have a separate UI on this side with the spaces for your backpack, kind of like when you're thinking of creative mode, where you come over here to the left and you can click and drag stuff from the creative to your inventory or blah, blah, blah. That creative inventory slot there could actually be your backpack slot without having to set the backpack down. That's way number one. Way number two is what we call tabs. So if you actually look at the top right of your inventory, you're going to see 3 different tabs, which brings up either you can have your creative mode being here with your tab being over here, or you can hide creative mode. Imagine clicking that tab and it brings out your backpack right under one of those tabs. Okay. And it gives you your inventory while you're wearing the bag. You don't have to set it down. Again, that would be much better than what we currently have with this mod / plugin. All right, scrolling down. Better Structures mod. This right here is completely broken, okay? And it does say end update, but guys, the structures do not spawn. You do not get the book. You don't even get the settings book to choose how often these structures can spawn like you used to get. Okay, I would love to have this mod in here because I love this type of temple. I love that one up here. The nether temples are good. The ships are great. Piers or whatever this is. There's like even this stuff. And well, to be honest with you, even the little like pillager actual villages and not just like the towers, right? This needs to be fixed. On top of that, they have like custom blocks in here where if you stand on it too long, they're called trap blocks and they will break if you stand on them and send you plummeting to the room below. That was actually not a bad idea. The flaw with this is when running vibrant visuals, turn off all fog or you're going to run into the FPS issue of 2 frames per second and it's unplayable when going anywhere near these. Okay? Let's just go ahead and remove that fog from the Better Structures mod. Their block labs. And this would be 300 times better. And again, we also need an update to actually make it so the books are usable again and the structures actually spawn and spawn where they're supposed to. Like a desert temple should not be in the middle of a jungle. A jungle temple should not be in the middle of a plains biome, okay? Make sure they spawn in the proper bits. Now, moving to the next one. By Foxy Star Studios, we have Better on Bedrock, which, by the way, isn't bad. It just breaks a lot. And what do I mean by this? Is you can launch it into a world, you play it, it shows what you're looking at, it spawns the towers, it feels pretty good, and then when you close your world and go to reopen it, the mod now becomes that little pink and black square thing and just tries to delete itself out of your world and it just stops functioning properly. Something with that needs to be looked at, figure out what's going on, and get it fixed. Also, the Willowa, what you are looking at, right, is what that's actually called. Instead of it being literally half my screen and popping up huge, just make it a little thing that pops up at the very top where you can see the icon of the block, what it is, what you're looking at, remove the what can break it. Or at least just give an X or a check mark depending on what you have in your hand to say it can or can't break it without saying broken by and then having to show a pickaxe icon. Just say a red X or a green check mark when you're looking at it with the tool in hand. Remove some of the stuff off screen. Simplify it a bit more. And don't make it cover up what might be in the background. Beyond the End 1.2. Great mod when it adds like new like biomes into the end. But you actually cannot run this on vibrant visuals. They need to add something that supports it and actually makes it so you don't get like 2 frames per second when being in the end on vibrant visuals. Try to figure that out and make a vibrant visuals update for this and call it Beyond the End 1.3 vibrant visuals update. That way we know that it's compatible. And then from there, you can actually just start saying Beyond the End 1.3.1 or 1.4, so this way we know after the Vibrant Visuals update that this now supports Vibrant Visuals. Every update doesn't need to say Vibrant Visuals. Next, Biomes O'Plenty. Great mod, but it adds too much color 900% of the time. Okay? When I think of biomes, like maybe a little flower biome here, then you have your dark oak, your spruce, your X, Y, and Z different biomes, right? There shouldn't be 40 rainbow biomes and 10 non-rainbow. It needs to be the other way around. 40 non-rainbow, 10 rainbow biomes. This way you still get vivid, but you also get real, right? let's counterbalance that a little bit and make these biomes not try to overpopulate the world in world generation. Make it like a what? Like, let's say if it's at 50% right now, let's turn that down to 25, right? 25% chance at this biome spawning in. If it's at 50, reduce it by half. If it's already at 25, reduce it by half. Trust me. We want more regular Minecraft biomes with supplementary new biomes that can spawn. Not mainly biomes plenty biomes. Last thing to cover with this, I don't know what's going on with it, but when you run this and my texture pack and you launch a world with both at the same time, it gets a little broken. The water breaks. I'm just going to put it that way. We seen it yesterday when I flew down and I gave you more white tones to see like the little squiggly lines instead of the waves, right? And again, this is by 4KS Studios, so something there needs to be fixed. It never used to do it, now it does. After an update, so something needs to be looked at there and make sure they're both hand in hand. I'll go over the texture pack I use when we scroll to it, which honestly I don't think we've made it to it yet. And plus, I think I clicked on add-ons, which means I'll have to go to textures here in a minute to do that. Next, Buckets Plus. Wonderful, amazing add-on. Not much to say here, just to say if you haven't picked it up, get it. Pretty much what you see here, like the pig in a bucket, the villager in a bucket, the creeper in a bucket, you can actually pick up a lot of stuff with the buckets inside of this, and you need certain buckets for, like, you know, the big bucket for like bigger items, and the smaller buckets can be picked up like with, you know, other things smaller can be in those. But it allows you to actually make a whole lot things easier. So when you're doing your villager shops, well, the big bucket, which is called the gold big bucket or something like that, you can pick up the villager in that and literally plop them down wherever you want them. Like if you're just clicking a block to place like a block, it's literally that simple. And you pick them up like you do an axolotl. You just click on them with a bucket. Same thing with creepers, zombies, skeletons, piglins. You can make a Minecraft mob zoo. You put up like a little enclosure, like a small enclosed, like windowed space. Place the, you know, mob behind it, break the bottom part of the window, not the top, the bottom. So this way the creepers don't swell up and explode on you, and you still can click their feet, okay? Because you name tag, like take a name tag to an anvil, name tag it, and you can literally name a creeper Steve, then put your missing, like click on the creeper with the Steve name tag in order to have creeper Steve be named so he doesn't despawn, and then replace the bottom window. And now you actually have a creeper you can always go look at. Same with zombies, skeletons, piglins, any mob in the game, okay? My cousin decided to do that back when we held their little thing. And that's something we're going to show a little bit later on. The creaking, expansion for the creaking. I like the idea of what this could be. So it's bigger creaking, make it look good. But they could have actually just done like a creaking forest with like creaking little villages and stuff like that. Or make me go through a portal to actually go to a realm for the creaking, kind of like you have the nether and the aether. It's not something it just spawns like a creaking woods floating in the sky above creaking woods, okay? This needs to be worked on just a little bit. Let's keep going. The next one to cover is going to be colorful concrete here. We could go over this, but there's another one I'm going to use in place of this one to go over in chance later. So we're going to keep going. Colorful concrete and colorful glass. So the colorful concrete, which both are by Block Perfect Studios, okay? I can't say they're block perfect because colorful glass has a little bit of a cliche we're going to go over. I showed it off the other day, but next, let's actually pop into concrete first here. And wonderful, but don't add too many blocks. Find a good black block, a good red, a good purple, a good blue, a green, or whatever, and literally do that. Because we don't need like 1,000 different blocks. That's slowing down when you open your inventory, okay? Let's make sure that doesn't happen. Now, with this right now, it doesn't. This is just a warning so you don't add too much later if you do decide to update this again and add more stuff. Same with the glass over here. I have it going at the same time as this one, but this one has a little bit of an issue. So light gray, you can see looks like this. When you stack multiple of these on top of each other or next to each other, that gray side face that touches the other block is going to become darker. And they're called borderless glass, but then it makes a border, and you can see that. I put side by side yesterday non-modded glass through my texture pack stacked, which didn't have a visual effect apart from being completely see-through, no border. And then this pack next to it where you could clearly see a border, even though technically they call it borderless glass, okay? It needs a little bit of an update to fix that. Let's keep going. A lot of packs like Conquest here, which Conquest doesn't do this, but a lot of the medieval packs that try to add realism overwrite your character skins, and I don't feel like they should. Right? Like, yeah, you're trying to bring a little bit in and fit in, but it shouldn't update your skin. Plus, sometimes they make like villagers just look horrible, and I feel like they could have just left villagers alone, or at least done something that feels medieval without being too overdone to the point where it looks stupid. That's all I'm gonna cover on that. Don't need dynamic light anymore because of the fact of I do have the realism visual VFX, which has dynamic light into it, but this was a good mod if you don't have that. It just makes it so when you're holding a torch, it actually displays light around you as if you're actually holding a torch in real life, and it's no longer the Minecraft torch where you hold it and everything is still pitch fucking black, okay? Dynamic light was something that should have just been part of Minecraft day one. But moving past dark fantasy visuals, if you guys like dark and scary, creepy, use that texture pack. It is great. Dinosaurs. Great. I love dino mods. Trust me. I used to play with like Paleocraft and Archaeology Evolved from Minecraft Java. And both were good, although my favorite was Fossils and Archaeology Revival, which was the best one of all the dino mods. Not only did it have the better textures, I felt like, the devs actually put more love and respect into the mod, and instead of having roaming dinos, you actually had to go mine fossil ore in order to get the DNA, where you can get random sets of DNA from in order to actually get something for a dino embryo or something that you stick into a cow, a pig, or a sheep, and then it would poop out the baby as if you mated two cows, right? The baby would plop out. It'd be a really small little baby, and you would have to feed and water and take care of like basically the baby dino till it grew up. And then you still had to like take care of it, feed it, all of that. And they had like actual like incubators and feeders and all different types of stuff like that. It was a great mod. That's how I feel like this should have turned out. Plus, the dinos here do have issues. One, they spawn way too heavy, which is why I said they need to go with the other one. The way I just told you guys with Fossils and Archaeology Revival. But also, some dinos walk around with a bigger weight class than they actually are. Okay? If we look at the Pyroraptor, it is a raptor, not a Tyrannosaurus or a tyrant king, right? Means tyrant lizard. King lizard, right? Instead of sounding like a T-Rex thudding around as a raptor, it needs to be more silent. You can still give it noise, but give it noise that kind of sounds like, here, I don't know if you guys will be able to hear this, but think of more like That not sounding like, okay, a big difference. So, yeah, little bit of a fix there that needs to happen. Don't over make sound to a dino outside of its weight class. If it's a raptor, it shouldn't sound like a T-Rex. If it's a T-Rex, it shouldn't be as silent as a raptor. A little bit, of a different weight class there. Door mod, great. They add a lot of different type of doors, but I feel like this one here with the iron door is how they should have done some of these wood doors as well. Especially like some of the dark to light ones. Should have been like this glassed door here. Oh my god. That door looks good, and it would have been good with a lot of different colors and the different like wood textures and stuff like that. Not going to worry about any of the dragons. Don't worry about essentials, SMP. Right here, we are now getting into my enchantment mods. So right here, the enchantments, this one, as in this one here. Okay, I'll click on it to make the picture bigger for you. This one, which has auto smelt and vein mine and tunnel drill, which we don't need vein mine and tunnel drill because my other mod already comes with it. The main thing I'm here is molten mending, which allows you to repair your armor and tools while standing in lava. And then auto smelt, which is like if I break iron, so having to take the raw iron to a forge to get the iron ingot, it actually just auto smelts it when you break it. Okay? Those were good. There's like even paralyzed, which probably sounds good. Poisoning your enemies sound good. Boss Slayer, maybe it does more damage against bosses, stuff like that. Obsidian Walker, whatever that actually is. But, there's some things in here that are good, some things that makes no sense, right? But it should not be its own custom enchantment table with like 4 pillars to stick different like 2 things of coal and this and that on, and then stick your pickaxe or thing on the actual enchantment pillar to enchant it. Just let it be a regular book that goes into a regular enchantment table, kind of like the other enchant mods on PC are. You just stick your pickaxe in an enchantment table and you have a chance at getting the modded enchant, right? Is how I feel like this should have been. Let's keep going. Essentials. This is the mod that I was going on about that has some of the stuff like that this has in it that, this doesn't need when you have this mod. Keep going. Furniture 2.1. This ain't a bad mod. They just need to get rid of the big chest because it just not only is it wonky and just stupid and horrible placement. The fish tank here needs better res, and it should always show like a fish tank. It should never look like one of the wall paintings that is 2D in Minecraft. To your friends or to you at any point, it should always look like this fish tank here to everyone's eyes, not just the person who placed it. Moving on, farming. This adds way too much into the game. Okay, even farm foods here, they both add way too much. The reason I'm saying that is because they add so many different like hamburgers, fruits and vegetables like that you can grow as plants. It adds more food, yes, but it adds so much that once you add these in and then you get like an armor mod or a tools mod that gives you more tools and armor, next time you press the inventory button, it's going to take forever for your inventory to come up. They should have kept these a little bit more simple. So maybe like a couple hamburgers, think of like fried chicken, maybe some different bread loaves, a couple new like plants, and then that should have been done. That way we're not adding too much. Farming pots, wonderful. What you do is you set up a chest, okay? You put your farming pot up here and make sure it's a hopping pot. There's the hopping farming, and then there's the regular farming. The regular farming, you have to click on this pot to grab the stuff out of it every time, or you're going to have to put a hopper below it, which, by the way, I think can take the seeds out so it no longer grows again. So you want the hopping pot. But the hopping pot set above a chest, then you take a piece of dirt or sand, whatever your item grows on, and you can plant it, and then it'll just fill up its inventory over time as if it's gardening for you with like the food item, its seeds, and whatever else the item can drop. You can do this with wood for trees. You can do this with any gardening thing. Even some of the modded stuff can go in here too. It works great with mods on some of the mods. It's great. Good little mod to get, and it's by Block Bytes, okay? Forest Craft. I like how they add different trees. I just don't like what's going on at the moment. On top of adding stuff that possibly can break water, because biomes, if you add custom biomes, it's going to break water if it spawns near it, especially on new worlds. And then next is going to be some of these trees, when you fly near them, somehow it makes the sun go down or go up when you're flying away. Like when you go towards the tree, the sun goes whoo, and your screen gets darker. Then when you're flying away from the tree, it goes whoop, and then everything gets bright again. Something's going on with that, and it needs a big looking at to fix, okay? It does need to fix. Let's keep going. This ain't even an actual plugin. This is actually something you have to start with the world that has a custom command block that allows this. That's why I'm not even going to call that a plugin. Health bars, again, they float. I love having something that shows the health above, whatever above, but this one and some of the others, some of the others will have this get disconnected and show way up here when something is underground. Or B, what happens is this health bar is actually set as another entity that's invisible, but it still makes sound. So if you're flying, you'll hear footsteps behind you or above you, or something's hitting a wall, and you can hear it actually physically doing all this. It's not silent. Fix it. Horror creatures. Wonderful mod. I feel like some of the stuff on design looks good to be horrific, as in it actually looks kind of scary, especially this creature here. But the only main scary part about this is not only are the creatures huge, which again removes some of the scariness from it. So to make up for that, they try to make them quick. And when I say quick, you are not outrunning them. These things will go through a 50 block gallop in 2.5 seconds. You're not outrunning them. They could have done this a little better. Creepier sounds, less jump scares, more dark. Bring up red eyes and make them actually look undead and scary. And then add some to be quick and some to be slow, right? Add others that it's harder to see them. So they have the scare factor of having you look to try to look for them, right? So if you don't see them and they hit you, it actually will scare you. Lights and Lamps, Vibrant Redstone update. I haven't used this completely yet, but it is a good mod. It adds new lights and lamps and stuff like that, and it's actually pretty cool. I would suggest getting this and using it in your world. More tools. This is not the one I'm running right now. More armors, weapons, and tools, the one I'm running. So when we come across it, we'll actually go over that one. But this one I will go over. The only reason I don't run this one, which is the light version, it actually is a little smaller. The only reason I don't run this is because the armor in this one, if you do the helmet, chest piece, leggings, and boots of I think it's ruby, it actually changes the blocks beneath your feet to random blocks. So you can have a chance at having a diamond block pop up and break it and literally have diamond on literally that quick. But again, it'll even do this to your houses, so you're griefing yourself. That's why I don't run this one. This ain't a plugin. More ore expansion. Again, this is more like a command block stuff where you have to have another world, and then these blocks just set down on top of the world, floating already pre-broken, that never despawn. You just run over it to pick it up. This should actually look like this and be something you actually have to mine, but it isn't. That's why I'm not saying this is an actual plugin. This is just more like a world gen. Let's keep going. Naturalist 26.1. This is actually a good mod. I just wish they would lower the spawn rate of the animals so it doesn't overwrite the animal spawn rate. Removing cow, sheep, pigs, chickens, give it like have the diversity, but also still let the Minecraft creature spawn. Let's keep going, shall we? Keep going. This right here, Plenty of Blocks 2.0. The only reason I don't use this instead of using like the stone cutter to be the only way to craft these, so they only show up in the stone cutter, they show up in your inventory with their recipes, and it's this mod right here, and it slows down. Like when you click a button to open your inventory takes forever to pull up because of that. Fix it. This is the texture pack I run. This is Prisma Visuals, okay? Prisma Visuals is a wonderful texture pack. It's my favorite, but this is the one that has like the realistic wavy water that right now, if you run Biomes of Plenty with, it does kind of break, and I would love to see those two actually get along again and stop breaking the water. Realism VFX 1.3 add-on. This is the add-on I run alongside Prisma. That gives me the actual like meteor showers, the wind that blows inside of like in front of my screen occasionally. You guys get to see that when I play. That's what I run. I do suggest running these two together. And then if you're on PlayStation, you will have a couple settings to set up we'll go over later to make sure you run smooth so you don't have like that many hiccups on graphic or FPS drops. Realms Management Tool, I already said you should always have this. So if you haven't bought it yet, go ahead and grab it. It is needed because you can actually teleport with this. You don't have to run every single place. And there's certain rules you can do. And plus you get the PC stuff that you would get with Essentials, like random teleport, stuff like that too. So you can actually try to random teleport around like 1,000 blocks away to see if you can find a desert without having to run it. It's just like little cool things like that you can do with it. Seasons is great. I just don't like how they add like new animals on top of like adding stuff that Realism VFX adds. So if I wanted this for like the generation of the new structures, or even how it can change different seasons to make it hotter or colder, I don't like how it tries to add like VFX. Okay. I wish that would be something you had to get separate. And you got your, villages that spawn, the new trees, maybe the biomes, the new seasons would be great. Just remove the visual VFX. Structures, we're not going to go over. The structures, we will. Because some people might like this, I don't. And my favorite mod right now is completely broken. It doesn't work at all. They have to update it and come out with an update soon. But pretty much I do not like how colorful this is, or this going into the jungle stuff, especially when they're kind of been doing, well, to show you guys evenly here. If we do this, you can see it is pharaohs, it is Egyptian, stuff like that. I'm sorry, but they were doing more Islamic than Egyptian, and I wish that should be updated to at least match the era they're going for here. Right? It breaks my immersion a little bit is the best way to say that. Do they look bad? No, but they could have made a pack that was based off of like this time period and match the one they're showing up here, right? But I also don't like the super colorfulness of those other things that's in the structure mod. But I have to use that for the castle, stuff like that for at the moment. Tree Capitator, wonderful mod. Always use this in your world, guys. So you can also set it to where it breaks with like, this, and this will actually use up your pickaxe. Or B, you can set it to where when you chop one, that's the only one that uses up the pickaxe, but you still get all the wood from that. It's up to you, whichever one you want to run with, but it is good. Weapons and tools here. This is the one I was on about. This is the full version of the mod, and this one is absolutely good. I also do have this mod here, which is weapons. Adds like a lot of different weapons. What I might do is download this one and remove this one, because this one I think still adds the pickaxes, stuff like that, but you actually get a more wide range of tools to use than just this one. So I might actually go ahead and download this and get that up there. Wildlife, this one is not bad. It just has one flaw at the moment, and that is like the oasis that spawns a different type of creatures here spawns way too often. If they would just reduce the oasis amount that spawned in the world to actually make it seem a little bit more legit and a little bit more like you have more distance between them. So it wasn't just oasis, 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 oasis throughout your entire world, would be nice. But let's go ahead and download this and get rid of the other one and put this one in. The reason I missed this one is I missed my Kosefs, guys, because the Kosefs were... So I might actually combine these two. That way I still get the armor, but also get the weapons from this one. I don't think that's going to slow my inventory down too much. If it does, I'll just get rid of this one and leave the 4K Studios one activated. But yes, that's pretty much what's wrong with some of these and my reviews to the ones to let you guys know my favorite ones to use and to show you what we actually do at the moment use while we update this to add my other mod in here. We have our nice little load order here, nicely made to the point where structures are here. Anything that does anything up here for the most part is loaded up here, which is like the resource pack and the realism VFX. But let's go ahead and go get my other weapons mod, shall we? Or tools or whatever. So aquaculture, what we can do is activate these and see if they actually have anything, because I do want the more fish. We will go ahead and add on naturalist for the more animals that can be in the world. And I think this one here is the one we just installed. I believe so. It'll say download if it ain't. All right, now what we're going to do is go back up to the top. We're going to click active, and we need to actually reorder these again. So it's actually going to be Prisma, Realism VFX, okay, which is going to be the order it needs to be in. And then from there, we can go ahead and do our structures mod, okay, because we need our structures to spawn. We're going to do aquaculture, and then the naturalist. And we got to make sure the behavior pack is loaded in the same way. So Realism VFX, the texture pack ain't going to be here. That's fine. So we're actually going to go ahead and do aquaculture, naturalist. Okay, it's not going to let me do it above this one. It does that sometimes. That's fine. And now we can actually just click play. There we go. I don't feel anything like uber broken at the moment, which is good. Okay, naturalist didn't spawn a book, but I ain't gonna worry about that just yet. All right, now we're gonna see if we can open our inventory. Okay, so it didn't feel uber slow. But you can kind of see how it's starting to, like, instead of pulling up quick like this, it has a little bit of a jitter, not much. That's fine. You can see we got our new weapons that we can build as long as we know the recipe for them, which is great. All right. Everything we have reviewed has already been reviewed. We're not going to sit down and play for a minute. I actually have some stuff I got to go get done, and then we'll come back and actually start the survival. Okay, guys? As in, like, pick up where we left off. And I'll see you guys then. Till then, stay awesome. Love you guys. Peace.